So we all know who Sherlock Holmes is, right? One of fiction's most famous detectives who was able to solve cases by using his insane observation skills and logical thinking.
First, distract target. Then block his blind jab. Counter with cross to left cheek. Discombobulate.
But what if the detective went up against a more illogical case? The missing kids case from Five Nights at Freddy's was its earliest mysteries that took fans years to piece together. From the victims' names to what happened to their bodies, this case was one of FNAF's toughest mysteries that's still being debated. But what if we put one of the fiction's greatest detectives against one of gaming's hardest mystery? Before we begin, let's get a rundown of the missing kids case. The victims of this case are children by the names of Gabriel, Susie, Jeremy, and Cassidy, who were all murdered and stuffed into animatronics by our main suspect, William Afton, using a Spring Bonnie suit. Now, with the case details out the way, let's see how Sherlock Holmes solves the case. Day 1. Detective Holmes arrives at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. After stepping into the restaurant, Holmes focuses on the people there, observing them. He notes parents who seem uneasy, not grieving, but confused. Employees who avoid eye contact when asked about the private room. A manager who answers questions too quickly. Rehearsed responses. Holmes already knows something. Disappearances that happen inside a business without witnesses usually mean one thing: inside access. He then walks into the dining area. He notices no signs of forced entry, no broken locks, no struggle. Children don't vanish mid-party without noise, he thinks. That tells our detective that the children left willingly. They trusted whoever took them. Sherlock immediately rules out random kidnapper, outside attacker, animal, or accident. Now he narrows it down to something familiar. Someone trusted, someone in costume. After deducting all this, Holmes then requests employee schedules, maintenance logs, costume use records. He cross-references disappearances with staff shifts. And what he notices: one employee was present every single time, not always on stage, not always in public view, but always in the building. That's not coincidence, that's pattern. Witnesses mention a bunny, not a man or stranger, but a mascot. Holmes knows masks reduce identity while also giving freedom. A criminal in a costume avoids recognition while also gaining children's trust and blending into the environment. He then suspects the costume is the weapon. By now, the detective doesn't just have a suspect, he has a profile. Sherlock doesn't accuse people based off vibes. He builds psychological blueprints. And William Afton fits that disturbingly well. Holmes classifies the crime as organised. Why? Well, the children were lured, not grabbed. The location was controlled and private. There was no public chaos. The bodies were concealed. This tells Holmes that this was done by someone calm, patient, methodical. Afton didn't panic after the first incident. He repeated it. That means planning. After a couple more clues, like knowing Afton works with the animatronics and has the freedom of moving anywhere without suspicion, our detective knows Afton has motives, opportunity, and knowledge, which is the classic trifecta. Pinning this with how Afton reacted towards the questioning, which was too calm, helpful, and cooperative. Sherlock Holmes knows William Afton is the murderer of the children. He also has the evidence to prove it. And with that, the missing children's case is closed. But there is still another part of this case that isn't solved, a part that wouldn't be in any of the files and documents that Sherlock would read. As we all know, after William Afton had chose to stuff the children into the animatronic suits, the animatronics had become possessed by the children's spirits. Now here's where Sherlock would start to have some trouble, as the detective doesn't believe in what shouldn't be logical. So let's see how Sherlock Holmes fares in the second part of this case, the animatronics possession. Night 1. Sherlock decides to stay the night at Freddy's to observe more. He chooses to stay in the office for the night, not out of fear but out of strategy. He wants to test a theory. As the building powers down, the lights dim down and the stage falls silent. Sherlock keeps a close eye on the monitors. He maps camera angles, blind spots, and electrical oddities. Then Freddy walks off the stage. Sherlock isn't shocked, or surprised by this. Instead, he rewinds the feed. He sees no human entry, mechanical triggers, or motor activation. Holmes thinks there could be a hidden wiring system, or a remote control override, or even a pre-programmed roaming mode. So he inspects the animatronics, joint hinges, wiring, power supply rerouting, and maintenance compartments and notices nothing out of the ordinary. Sherlock sees that no one had added any hidden circuits or operating equipment, but yet the animatronics move with intent. Sherlock tracks their behavior during the night. They approach the office, pause at doors, react to light, seem to track sound, and each one seems to act differently, like they are each their own person. With Sherlock not believing in the impossible, he won't even start to think of the word haunted, but what he does write down is, behavior suggests retained identity beyond mechanical design. And for Sherlock, that's as far as he'll go towards saying it's supernatural. Due to his logical thinking, the case goes from being solved in a day to taking weeks to piece together. As to if Sherlock Holmes ever solves how the animatronics are, it all depends on his willingness to accept the illogical, which goes against the main reason he was fiction's best detective.